kind of a weird situation.
And I don't know, not to talk to strangers applies to giant ferrets.
That's right. Cinderella.
Yeah, right.
But
not really a stranger.
My feeling is that this type of technology seems innocuous. Oh, come on, it's Disney. How bad could it be? I think the problem for this is when you have a 6-year-old kid running around with an RFID tag, what you're really doing is conditioning them to submit to this level of surveillance. And you're just getting them used to the idea that everything they do is going to be tracked.
And we see it also in schools. I mean, schools are now getting a lot of these things, and they're often being given to schools. For that reason, it acclimates people. So whether it's face recognition technology or fingerprint technology on buses, this is all being sold as...
So biometrics is also a part of it.
Schools are very dangerous. There's shootings every day. Your kid has a 1 in 2 chance of dying in a shooting. Whatever our fears are, they're being sold to us to mollify them, and it does get kids used to this sort of a ubiquitous surveillance, that it's normal.
I mean, this is one of the things that the TSA security theater actually is effective at. If you think about the opening scenes of that George Clooney movie, Up in the Air, where he's just absolutely seamlessly, almost ballet-like, whipping his laptop out, sliding his shoes off. I mean, it's all this sort of choreographed dance, and it reminds me of this idea that of the French philosopher Michel Foucault talked about, that there's forms of surveillance that create docile bodies. That by being observed, that we are trained to follow the path of least resistance, which is to say, train ourselves to automatically go through the procedures that expose us to the TSA guy with the least amount of hassle. I mean, they do a good job of encouraging this, right? Well, you don't have to go through the naked scanner. You can instead get terribly groped. Well, no, the easier thing to do is submit to the naked scanner. And it's a form of training.
That's true. I think that's very true. I was a young man. I had the opportunity to live in Berlin, and I spent time in East Berlin and East Germany and elsewhere in the East Bloc. And this was the one thing I took away from that experience, is when you live under constant surveillance and you don't know who's working for the government, they all might be spies, you never really know, people become apathetic and they stop trying.
Well, but also, you change. I mean, I remember in the years of 9/11, I'll be talking to a friend on the phone, and we say something because we're talking about security, and one of us says, wow, I hope the NSA isn't listening. We both laugh because it's a funny joke, but the conversation changes.
That's true.
The fact that you might be observed in all things changes how you act. It makes you less of a free person. There's probably less crime in East Berlin, but you didn't want to live there.
You sure didn't want to live there.
One of the sadder things I remember reading in the New York Times reporting on the NYPD's sort of Muslim infiltration program was there was a student union at, I think, Columbia or another New York university where they had posted in the room where the Student Muslim Association met a sign